Ladies and gentlemen, with so much negativity happening these days in the news, I thought this would be a good time to step in and have a little laugh at the expense of Calgary's failed woke mayor. Let's get into it.
Oh, yeah!
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Fringe. I'm trying to hold my excitement because, boy, do we have a video for you guys today. If you're buckling down for your Sunday celebrations of Easter, well, this is going to put a little bit of a smile on your face, whether you're from Calgary or not. And if you're a stranger to this channel or you don't know much about Calgary's politics when it comes to its civil politics, what can we say about the failed woke left mayor Jyoti Gondek? Well, we all know she's been installed and she wasn't elected. We all know that she's had terrible woke policies when it comes to the once temporary COVID measure to stop people from protesting outside actually exercised into a bylaw to stop people from protesting against drag time story hours or in front of any city-run properties, because Jyoti Gondek brought her personal business into civil politics by trying to identify with her non-binary child. Now, she's also gone forward to institute higher taxes to the jumps of 9% almost this year alone, let it go reckless spending, overtaxation, abuse of power. We've even seen something as dastardly as her single-use bag bylaw in Calgary, not just for stores, but anytime you go through a drive-through, you are now to pay 15 cents for a bag just to take home the food you purchased. Well, today, ladies and gentlemen, or I should say last night, Jyoti Gondek got a hero's reception when it came to her attendance at a Calgary Flames game, and we're going to get into that. One of the policies that she immediately drew criticism for as taking the mayor's position was she called a climate emergency. Just like Justin Trudeau, Stephen Guilbeault, anytime they talk about how the caps are melting, how everybody's at risk, and of course, we have the ever-parent April Fool's Day, bad April Fool's Day joke from Justin Trudeau on its way in just 24 short hours. I wanted to take a moment to show why this declaration of a climate emergency isn't really as bad as everybody thinks it is. Of course, we have here shocking NASA Google time-lapse footage shows the terrifying rate at which sea levels are rising. So keep in mind, this starts at 1984. Let's just take a peek as to how much. Now watch this line, this white line along the screen. Let's take a look at just how fast the sea levels are rising. Get a copyright strike. Let's, oh, geez, look at that. All the way up to, 21, 22. Oh, call me crazy. Am I the only one who's not seeing a change? In fact, it almost stays the exact same. Who knew? Right? Who knew? I mean, the city seems to have developed here, whatever town this is that's happening to grow since 1984, all the way to 2024. Almost, what is that? 40 years? A 40-year time lapse? I don't know. Are we living in clown world? Well, Jyoti Gondek, of course. If you don't know anything about recall legislation, there is a mass recall going on for Jyoti Gondek, and a mass recall that could result in my running for the Calgary mayor's position come sooner rather than later. However, it is ending in just 3 days, and honestly, the goal of recall legislation to reach the amount of signatures is a little far-fetched, and I don't want to discourage anybody from signing the petition. I know I've signed the petition. Many friends of the channel who are well known in the public eye have signed the petition. They've done a great job. I think there were some missteps. I think that better planning could have helped with this campaign in order to assure that the roughly 500,000 signatures required to recall Jyoti Gondek was met. However, I think, and again, if you tune into my live streams, which we just talked about this week, and if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're well on our way to 30,000 subscribers here on the channel, and we do live streams every Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central here on Friday Night Fringe. But I talked a little bit about recall legislation and why it's important that the rest of the country adopt these policies or push for your MPs, your premiers, your federal MPs to push for these kind of safeguards when it comes to our politics. With recall legislation in Alberta, there are some things that could be fine-tuned with it. There are things that are out of whack in terms of the amount of signatures necessary. But if you were to think about the destruction that Justin Trudeau has underdone to this country in the last 8 years in terms of scandals, in terms of lockdown measures, in terms of policy, and just right around that we just don't want him. Well, wouldn't it be nice if Canada had a safeguard in place that the people could force an election, the people could remove him from office, not folks like Jagmeet Singh who want to prop him up in order to get their pensions? I think that recall legislation is a nice safeguard. And of course, in Alberta, the only problem with this recall legislation is you get one crack at it. If it fails, Jyoti Gondek is allowed to serve out the rest of her tenure. And it looks like that's going to happen. Now, an election is coming up, 2025. But let's take a look at what happened last night at the Saddle Dome. Wow, I can't believe I have to do this, but ladies and gentlemen, future Derek coming at you here from my game room. Unfortunately, at the time of filming this video, I wanted to get this out for you guys for Easter Sunday. I'm going out of town for Easter, and the NHL has decided to copyright strike the video of Jyoti Gondek being booed. And they're saying, well, she's wearing a Flames jersey and that violates their copyrights. Of course, we all know the truth. They don't want this getting out. They don't want people laughing at the expense of the Calgary Flames and their virtue signaling. Even though that's what this video was all about, I have decided, rather than scrapping the video altogether in the wee hours of the morning here, to simply inject this video and let you know there will be a link down below in the description to go and watch Jyoti Gondek being mercilessly booed by Calgary citizens throughout the Saddle Dome. It's great. You should absolutely go and watch it. Again, ladies and gentlemen, my apologies. This is censorship at its finest. And with that said, I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. Here, one or two people whistling in the background. Well, the majority of this arena, this sold-out arena, booing Calgary's woke failed mayor. I apologize if the audio was a little low. I tried to get it boosted as much as I could. So if you had to turn up your televisions or your phones or any device that you're watching this video on, I can assure you it's worth going back and turning up the volume. The boos far outweighing any kind of cheering. But when it comes to the campaign, recall Gondek, showing here that vandals have been attacking their signs. Now, we've also seen the mayor using bylaws to say that, hey, these signs can't be out. We're going to remove them. And I'm going to get into that. Let's take a look at the vandalism that's gone on over these signs. Of course, we had a video last week talking about Karen, which evidently was funny. The woman's name Karen here, going out and putting respect Gondek and vandalizing over top of the recall Gondek signs. But multiple signs damaged, broken, destroyed, spray painted on, vandalized, while the mayor is locking up these signs. They're having the police take them all down. They're trying to stop people from understanding where they can go to sign these petitions, where to go to get out, because, well, of course, you wouldn't want people to exercise their rights to recall their mayors. But here's Cian Bexty from the Counter Signal, and again, friend of the channel, tweeting out on March 29th, happening now after the city deemed recall Gondek billboards illegal and seized them. We hired a rolling billboard truck to spread the news about the campaign. There's only 5 days left to physically add your name. Register at recallgondek.com to learn where to go. And of course, this was on March 29th. So again, at the time of this video, there's 2 days left to get that done. But here we go. Let's take a look at... Again, it was briefly in that other video about the sign vandalism. We've seen this truck used by Rebel News in the past, but of course, Cian Bexty finding the time to get it out there, get the news around that, hey, Gondek is up for recall. Get out and vote. Get your names on the papers. And again, this is where I say this campaign could have used this push. I think it would have been more prominent for the man who spearheaded this recall to, I believe his name is Landon Johnston. Now, he's an HVAC company owner who just one day decided, hey, I don't like this bag bylaw. I don't like the overtaxation. I don't like some of the things that Jyoti Gondek has put forward. So I'm going to put in the recall legislation. And again, that's on a time lapse. And the campaign didn't really start gaining traction until about 1/4 through the time limit that was necessary. And at that time, they were saying that the campaign would have had to garner roughly 8,000 signatures daily in order to hit the required amount of signatures to recall Jyoti Gondek. I think personally, and this is my opinion, that if they wanted to coordinate properly, this should have been an effort online to gather people, get people ready from day one to prepare them for this recall legislation going to be enacted. I think they would have done very well since these people have been volunteering, sitting out in the cold on weekends, getting signatures. Why not run this during the Calgary Stampede and sit outside just off 17th Avenue where the entrance is to the Calgary Stampede and get your signatures there? I know a lot of people say, well, Calgary Stampede garners a lot of visitors from all over the world. You wouldn't be able to get their signatures. No, but a very large population of Calgary attend the Calgary Stampede. I feel like you could get a very large amount of signatures alone from just sitting outside those gates, and possibly would have, well, lent a hand to this campaign. Again, this is my opinion. I still give kudos to those who got involved, those who worked hard to make sure the signatures were got. And the signatures are going to fall where they may, but it's also going to show something very important. It's going to show in a city where Jyoti Gondek won her position with a mere 175,000 votes, how many people are fed up enough to get up, sign a piece of paper, and try to hoof her out. Well, ideally, Rick Bell comes out with the Calgary Herald, which is usually a left-leaning entity, to put out an article the other day stating, keep in mind, this came out March 28th. Jyoti Gondek, not sure she'll run for mayor of Calgary again. What? Why on God's green earth would you want to run for mayor when people went to recall you? Obviously, you're not going to get reelected unless, again, there's shenanigans afoot. But here we go. Gondek says right now she is not spending my time contemplating reelection. But we all know when it comes to the mayor, plenty of folks are frustrated, angry, and stirred up. It says here that Mayor Jyoti Gondek does not know if she'll run to lead the city again. In fact, at breakfast in the same booth at the same Denny's, we spoke when she was running for mayor in 2021. Gondek said she still has to nail down if she is the right leader to lead. The fact that recall legislation was just introduced in Alberta recently, and of course it's enacted immediately on Jyoti Gondek, well, that should tell you right off the hop with this statement, you are not, in fact, the right leader to lead. The word on the city political partners coming in for a few weeks of voters who are waking up. Folks from all over political stripes are talking about how to fight the next city ballot battle in the fall of 2025. And since Gondek is in her first term as mayor, a lot of individuals figured her answer would be yes, she would fight on. Well, maybe she will, maybe she won't. The times are not what they used to be. There used to be this thing where if you're the mayor, of course you're going to run for another term because there's unfinished business. And yes, she quotes, there will be unfinished business, but the times are not what they were. You need to make sure you're the right leader for the times that you're in. Well, what does that mean? She quotes, you have to know in your heart that the type of change you want to bring about is the right change this time, and the projects you want to advance are the right projects at the time. Again, her leadership over the brief period of time she's been mayor has shown that she's interested in nothing besides reckless spending, left ideologies, starving people out of their homes, and stopping people from any form of progression or succession in the city. Opportunity has completely diminished in this city. Downtown is empty and vagrant. Keep in mind, this is a mayor who opted to defund the police, and now Calgary's crime rate has increased almost by 100% over top of what it was when she became mayor of Calgary. She has done nothing short of fail as the mayor in a very short period of time, and she still has a year and a half to go in her tenure. So why on earth people are surprised, or the Calgary Herald is surprised, that she would contemplate whether or not she's going to run again completely baffles me. But ladies and gentlemen, this is hilarious. The reception at the Saddle Dome is absolutely mind-bendingly funny. I mean, the whole premise of Jyoti Gondek thinking she stands a snowball's chance in hell of sticking around despite the results of this recall campaign are astronomically funny. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Again, I don't usually like covering city politics in a YouTube video where people from all over the country watch these things, but anytime the left is losing, well, we like to celebrate that here on the channel. So let me know what you guys think down below. Make sure if it's your first time here and you enjoyed this content to hit that subscribe button. Again, click your bell for notifications. Join us Fridays on our live streams. They're a great time. We go over everything that's happened in the week prior, everything coming up in the week ahead, and we have a little bit of back and forth with our community. And it's always great to see longtime viewers in there as well as newcomers join us in the discussion. I look forward to seeing you all there this Friday, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video and have a great rest of your weekend. I'll catch you on the next one.